I lost most of my eyesight August of 2004. I actually woke up one morning and could barely read the newspapers. I used to think it was a good habit of reading newspapers every single morning with my cup of coffee. So I would sit at the same bar stool in my kitchen every morning, and I came down to the kitchen counter. I am such an optimist. I'm such a positive person that, believe it or not, I opened up the first newspaper and I tried to read it, and I thought that the newspaper had actually made a mistake with the words because they were completely blurry. So I put that newspaper down and I picked up a second newspaper. Well, the same thing. And of course, at that point, I really didn't realize that there was anything wrong with my eyes. I always was such a positive thinker that I looked at these newspapers and thought that there was something wrong with the newspapers. So I put them aside, and then I showed them later on to my family, and they told me that the newspapers were fine, and I realized I had something wrong with my eyes. But of course, at that point, I thought I was just getting older and I needed glasses. When I went to the optometrist, which was a few days later, by that point, I couldn't even drive. I had to be driven to the doctor's office. Everything about me was healthy, so they didn't really understand why I had such trouble with my eyes, and they immediately thought it might be a brain tumor. So it took almost 6 months to diagnose me. I finally went to a specialist in New York, a specialist in Philadelphia, rare disease specialist, and they did a DNA test, and they realized that it's actually a genetic disease called Leber's hereditary optic neuropathy. So when we got the results of the DNA test, the results actually said that, I think the exact phrase was, this patient has the most severe type of Leber's and will never regain her sight. That was 9 years ago. And I have regained most of it by the grace of God, by all my knowledge of health, by lots of effort. I've regained most of my sight. The doctors who diagnosed me wanted me to go into a blind hospital in New Jersey for 16 weeks so that I could learn how to live as a blind person. I refused. I told the doctors that I would inevitably regain my sight and that I would be completely healthy once again soon. And of course, they didn't agree with me, but I did not go into what I considered to be living the blind life. I did whatever I could to start my journey on regaining my sight.